Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Growing Up Asian American tag, and I've actually wanted to film this for quite some time now. I was tagged by my friend Joelle a couple of months ago, and I just never got around to filming it because of like life and work and school. So I am here doing it now. I do wish I filmed this in May during Asian American Pacific Islander month, but you know what? Better late than never. And I feel like this is so old school YouTube because I remember when I did tags back in the day and I would actually like tag my YouTube friends and everything. But you know, it's 2019 and we're still doing tags and I'm here for it. So the first question is, which ethnicity are you? And I am Chinese. 100% Chinese. I've always wondered if there was like a small part of me that was like another Asian or like European even, but yeah, so I've always wanted to do like 23andMe and stuff, but my parents are pretty adamant, and even I'm pretty positive that there's literally like no other blood in me other than Chinese. Question number 2, which generation are you? I am first generation, and that is based on my definition of it. I don't actually know if this is the right definition. Correct me if I'm wrong, but basically my parents were born in China and then they came to America, and then my brother and I were the first that were born in America. So we're first gen, right? Question number 3, what is the first experience where you felt that demarcation of being a minority or being different? I tried really hard to think back in like elementary school or middle school or preschool about like when there was a time that I felt this way, but honestly, I'm really lucky in that the city that I live in and like my hometown is like the majority is Asian, and we aren't exactly the minority here, so I've never really felt super out of place. Instead, I thought of a more recent experience where I felt that I was different and a minority, and that was actually when I studied abroad in Paris, so pretty freaking recent. I did a program with CEA, and CEA was a program that is unaffiliated with the UC system. So that means that everyone, like no one from the UC system was doing CEA. I was the only UC student. And this isn't always the case, like other UC students could do that program too, but since it's not affiliated with the UC system, not as many students will do that because it's like harder to do and it's like more paperwork. But you know, I like to make things hard on myself and I just really love the program. So I ended up doing that. I remember when I went on the Facebook group when I was added and I looked through all the people, I was like, I am the only Asian in this group. And I don't think I like ever felt that way before. I went to the orientation the first day and I was like freaking out. This was in Paris already. So it was like in Paris and I was like, okay, I have to go to the orientation. I have to push myself out of my comfort zone. I need to make friends. I'm gonna be here for 4 months. I was just like kind of freaking out because I was like, I really don't, I mean, these are just people. Like people are people, you know? So like this shouldn't be bad at all. And yeah, it was fine. Like literally it was fine. But like it was just all in my head. Obviously, I made friends and I still talk to a lot of them to this day. Hello, miss you all if you're watching. I think it was just a thing that was just in my head a lot. Yeah. There's my answer to that question. Number 4 is, were you always proud of your heritage or was there a time you rejected it? And I truly believe that I don't think there was ever a time where I rejected my heritage. I think I was always proud of it. And since it was something that I obviously grew up with, I just like was always proud of it and I was always surrounded by it. So there was never a time where I was like, I don't want to do this, or like, I don't like this and I wish we would stop doing it. I honestly am so grateful that I know so much about like my heritage and everything. And yeah, what are some stereotypes that you struggle with? When I read this question, I thought about this typical like stereotypes, like you're really good at math or like really good at school. But like I said, because I grew up in a majority Asian city, those were never really the stereotypes. Like you're in class with like a whole bunch of other people who also have the same stereotype. The typical stereotypes that I have struggled with have definitely occurred when I'm traveling. And the typical one is just that they assume that we don't know English and that we're from like China. And it just gets really annoying because they treat you differently and they just aren't open to talking to you. That's an annoying thing. Another one is thinking that we're like conceited and from like old money. So like thinking we're like the rich, like the crazy rich Asians basically. So yeah, it gets like pretty annoying, and they just don't believe that we are from America. They just like think and truly believe that we're from China, even though we say that we are from America. Like, we're from California. We are quite American. Otherwise, no stereotypes there. Question number 6 is, can you speak your language? And yes, I can. So I am fluent in Cantonese, although my brother recently brought up the fact that maybe I'm not fluent because I can't read or write Chinese. But you know what? I'm still gonna say I'm fluent. My parents speak both Cantonese and Mandarin just because Mandarin was like the primary language in schools, so that's what they learned with. And then like at home and whatever, they spoke Cantonese. I can understand Mandarin pretty well just because like my piano teacher spoke to me in Mandarin, my old after school teacher and like all those teachers there spoke to us in Mandarin, and like my art teacher I think was Mandarin too. So I've grown up around Mandarin speakers. So honestly, I can understand a lot of Mandarin, which I'm very proud of. I like can't pronounce words correctly. Like, I'll say it in my mind and it sounds great and wonderful, and then it comes out of my mouth and it just like does not sound right. But there's that long-winded answer to that question. And number 7 is, how has being Asian American affected your relationship with your parents? I have always been really close with my parents, which is something that I love and like I'm so happy about. And I think a large part of that is because I know how to speak Cantonese. Cantonese was my first language before English, and just like that's what they raised us with. That's what I speak to my grandmas with, and like my aunts and my uncles. I only speak English with my brother when I'm at home or like with our cousins, but otherwise it's all in Cantonese. And I think that helped a lot with our relationship just because it's how we communicate, obviously. And like if I didn't know Cantonese that well, or if I refused to learn it, I feel like we wouldn't be as close as we are now. There are obviously some things that we can't relate to just because of like generation wise, and our upbringing was different. Like their upbringing is completely different from how they ended up raising like my brother and I. Obviously there are similarities in just like Asian stuff that you do, but otherwise it's like totally different. I think being Asian American definitely benefited rather than like not benefited my relationship with my parents, and yeah, I'm really grateful for it. How do you feel about your heritage now? Do you identify with it? I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but like I love it, and I truly love being Chinese and being an Asian American, and I do identify with it. I identify with a lot of it. I think like the only thing that makes me really sad is that I can't give my children the same type of experience that my parents gave me. I really want to make kind of like a one-on-one like guide book for like my future self, writing all the dates that are important, certain traditions that we do on certain days. I really want to keep and maintain all these traditions that I know now, but I just like have such a bad memory, and I just feel like it's so hard to do. But it's okay, because these traditions were probably different from my parents' like the way they did it. And so my parents did it like slightly differently. And then me and my brother and like our cousins and that generation are gonna do that slightly differently. And then I'll just continue on. Number 9 is, what is your favorite thing about being Asian American / your heritage? So one of my favorite things is definitely the traditions. I think they're just so interesting, and every family has a different tradition. and I just love that. And another thing that I really love is just the emphasis on family. I love it when we have just like, we go to eat dim sum and it's just like the entire side of my dad's family that goes, and then we just all just like eat, and they're like super loud and it's great, and then we have like a bunch of leftovers, and it's just like so much fun to me. And having like Chinese New Year dinners and having everyone over and like doing a potluck or like Christmas celebrations or birthday celebrations. And yeah, I just love that. That is the last question of this tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was sort of rambly. I don't quite know if I answered all the questions correctly, or if there was a correct way to answer it. Probably not, but I don't know if I answered them all exactly. But I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway, and you got a glimpse into what my kind of upbringing was and my viewpoint on being Asian American. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I really want to film a video in Cantonese in the future. Please leave a comment below on what that video should be. But if you guys enjoyed what you saw, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye!